Hi, it's Anne here from Music Discoveries. I've had quite a few requests for a mini lesson on my arrangement of Enya's Watermark. I made that video a few weeks ago, and if you haven't seen the performance video, you can go check that out right up here. I'll put the link in the cards and in the description. And if you need the sheet music, you can purchase it at Sheet Music Plus or Sheet Music Direct. Those links are down below as well. So if you're ready to go, you've got your sheet music and you're ready to learn with your harp, then join me for a mini lesson. We're going to go over the right hand fingering. We'll look for the sections and the form of the piece. We will study the left hand chord patterns, and we'll look at the left hand lever changes. So I'm going to set you up for success so you can do a really good job with this piece. So when you look at the sheet music, you'll see that the piece is in G major. I actually changed the key of the original so that it would be a little bit easier to play on a lever harp. So your F sharps are up. This does work better if you have a large harp with 34 or more strings, and if you're tuned to E flat major, this is going to be a little easier to do as well. If you look at the very beginning of the piece, you'll see that you need to set two of your levers. Your low E should be flat, so the lever is down, and your low F should be natural, so that lever should also be down. We're going to get started with the right hand melody, and you'll notice in the sheet music I didn't put in any fingering or brackets. But that doesn't mean I didn't give you clues. In fact, if you look at the slurs that I added, the phrase marks, those are fingering clues. Those are not the same phrase marks that you would see in a piano score. In fact, a lot of piano scores don't have phrasing at all. Some do. But usually not this phrasing. I chose slurs to help guide you and give you clues as to the fingering that I'm choosing. So if you look at the very beginning of the right hand tune, if I just play the first notes with my pointer finger, you'll see that I have D, F, G, and then it goes up to an A. We have 4 notes going in one direction, so you might think, ooh, maybe I should use 4 fingers here. But you know what? I think that you can use that half note as an opportunity to close and relax the hand, let the music breathe. So I just put the slur over the first 3 notes to suggest that you use a 3-finger placing, 3, 2, and 1 on D, F, G, and then you can full close and let the music breathe. Okay, so 3, 2, 1 with your first bracket. Now, if we look at the next group of notes, we've got A, G, F, D, B. You've got 5 notes going down, so you've only got 4 fingers available. So you have to figure out a fingering that will help you navigate through those 5 notes. I wonder if some of you have already tried this, what fingering you came up with. I think I probably already know the answer to that question. So I'm going to show you the fingering that I use and why and how it's going to make things easier in the next phrase. So what I want you to do, forget about the sheet music for a minute, go ahead and when you're placing your thumb on your high A, skip a string, 2 is on blue F, 3 on D, and 4 on B. You're skipping every other string, okay? Notice your finger 2 is on blue. That could be a landmark. Now, so close your hand and try finding that again. So hover, open, and place. Did you get A, F, D, and B with your 4 fingers? Practice it one more time because that's going to make it a lot easier for you to memorize this piece down the road. So close the hand, hover, open, and place. A, F, D, and B. Now what I want you to do is play your thumb and thumb slide down to the G like this. Thumb, thumb. Got it? Let's do that again. Thumb, thumb. Good. Now if you can do that thumb slide, then you just play the rest of the notes skipping down. So it's thumb, thumb, 2, 3, 4. Good. Let's do that again. Hover, open, place, ready, play. Thumb, thumb, 2, 3, 4. Now, hover, open, and place one more time, and this time we have one additional note to add to the phrase. Your thumb will need to link and go to a G. Here we go. Thumb, thumb, 2, 3. Now open the thumb, hover over the G, play 4, place the G, and link. And how do you remember that you're going to a G? Well, go to G. Okay? Go starts with a G. Here we go. Let's do that again. 1, 2. Thumb, thumb, 2, 3. Link, 4. Go to G. Good. Now, in the next phrase, the great news is that you're just going to open into the exact same position with 2 on blue, skip every other string. The difference is we don't do a thumb slide this time. So it's just thumb, 2, 3, 4, and you're linking, you're ending on an E. Notice how I said end on E. That helps me remember that I'm going to an E this time. End on E. Go to G, then end on E. Let's practice that again. 4 fingers placed. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, end on E. Doesn't that make it really easy to remember the melody notes? You're going to have this memorized in no time at all. Now, the last phrase in this section begins at measure 8, and we're just placing an A minor triad. So you probably got that. If you've tried this already, you probably placed your thumb, 2, and 3 on that A minor triad. But my guess is that you probably closed your hand at this point. And what I want you to do, the phrasing is showing you that you're going to link to the D with thumb and then link to the B with finger 2. Okay, so let's practice those 5 notes with beautifully linked fingering. Okay, place thumb, 2, and 3. Ready, play. Thumb, 2, 3, link to D, and then link to the B. And that's your right hand fingering. So I'd suggest perhaps writing some of those fingerings and brackets in, or maybe that was clear enough that you've just got it memorized now, which would be great. The great news is that when you look at the pickup to measure 11, do you notice it's your 3 finger placing again, and then going into the thumb slide again. Well, guess what? This is just the A section once again. So let's talk about the form of the piece, and we'll mark in the sections. So we'll go right back to the beginning. Let's call this the A section. And then at the pickup to measure 11, this is another A section. So that's going to simplify your learning because you're just going to you have 2 for the price of 1. That makes it so easy. Now we might as well look ahead and mark the rest of the sections while we're at it. That'll just make learning easier. So let's go back to measure 19. This is where the B section begins. And the lever changes. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then take a look at the last measure of the second page. This is the pickup to measure 29. This is a return to the A section. And then if you look ahead, look for another instance of the 3 finger placing. Do you see it? There it is over at the pickup to measure 37. And this is another A section with some changes. Okay, you could call it A1 if you like, but you could just call it an A section and be on the lookout for some small little tweaks. Okay, now, shall we go back to the beginning and let's look at the left hand patterns. Now, the great news is that in the A section, the left hand only has 4 different left hand patterns and they just get recycled. So let's look at them and make sure that they're comfortable. First things first, you want to make sure again that your harp is tuned to your G major with your F sharps up, but do make sure that your low F lever is down and your low E lever is down. So the low F should be F natural and the E string is E flat. Let's take a look at measure 1 left hand. And what we have here is a 1, 5, 9, 8, 10. It sounds like this. Now you want to link those 5 notes smoothly. And so the way that we do that is you want to, if possible, open and place the 1, 5, 9, that's G, D, and thumb is on A. So try to be able to place that full hand position, all 3 notes as a group. If you can't quite do that, the first thing that I want you to check is what happens if you make sure that you float your elbow. If your elbow is low, it makes it a little harder to reach the strings. So float the elbow, your forearm is parallel with the floor, and chances are you're going to be able to open and place your 1, 5, 9. If it's still too much of a stretch for you, you can just place the first 2 notes, G and D, and then pivot up to your thumb when it's time. Okay, it will still be smooth and just a little easier on the hand. So open and place your 1, 5, 9. That's G, D, A, link finger 2 to G, and link your thumb to the B. And there are your 5 notes of the pattern. Let's practice that again. Open, place, G, D, A, G, B. Now I apologize to Enya for changing her left hand pattern, but she did write this piece for piano, and the piano pattern just feels a little awkward on the harp. So I kept the essence of her left hand while making it just a little bit easier to play on the harp. You're welcome. Let's try that again. It's G, D, A, G, B. Look at the next measure, same thing. Ready? Look at measure 3, another one. 3 for the price of 1. G, D, A, G, B. Got it? You're going to see that pattern a lot. Now in measure 4, we move up to a B chord. B is the 3rd note in the scale, so we could call this the 3 chord or the mediant chord. This time we're placing a 1, 5, 10. So you have B, F, and your thumb is going all the way up to a D this time. That's a bigger stretch. If possible, open and place your 1, 5, 10 as a group. If you can't quite do it, place the first 2 notes with your thumb up and on the way and pivot to the D. And that would be okay as well. I'm going to open and place all 3 notes though. So I've got B, F, D, and then I'm going to link to a B and an F. That's 1, 5, 10, 8, 12. Ready? Let's try this. B, F, D, link to B, link to F. That's 1, 5, 10, 8, 12. And do that again. This is your B chord. Ready? Play. 1, 5, 10, 8, 12. Once more, and 1, 5, 10, 8, 12. Once more for luck. 1, 5, 10, 8, 12. Great news. Measure 5, you're back to the G. Remember, it's 1, 5, 9. 1, 5, 9, 8, 10. Was that pretty easy? Oh, look, measure 6. It's the 3 chord again. B, B, F, D. B, F, D, B, F. Now, in measure 7, it's a new chord starting on C. So this is the 4th note of the scale. It's a 4 chord or subdominant chord, and it's easy. It's a 1, 5, 8, 9, 10. Ready? I know you know this one. It's 1, 5, 8, 9, 10. Let's do that again. We do that with a cross under. C, G, C, cross under to D and E. Let's go once more. 1, 5, 8, 9, 10. So that's 3 different chord patterns so far. Here's the 4th chord pattern in measure 8. So we're going down to the F natural. So make sure that you've moved that lever down. Your F natural should sound like that. If it doesn't, look up at that lever and make sure that it's down. So it's an F natural, a C. The C is tied, and then your thumb plays A, and the A is tied. The counting sounds like this. Listen, 1 and 2 and 3 and. Here it is again. Try counting it with me. 1 and 2 and 3 and. When you put it together with the right hand, the hands will be weaving together. So it's actually not that hard to put together. It sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Or you could think both, left, right, left, right. Do you want to try that spot with me right now? Remember, this is where the right hand is placing an A minor triad. You have E, C, and A. Left hand on F, C, A. Are you ready? We'll do this together. Start nice and slow. Your right hand thumb and left hand finger 4 together. It's both. Now left, right, left, right. You see how that works? We're weaving back and forth. Let's do it a few more times so you can get the hang of that. Fingers ready, ready, play. Both, left, right, left, right, and do it again. Ready, play. Both, left, right, left, right. You see how that works? I think that's going to be just fine. And then when we are at measure 9 and measure 10, you'll notice we're right back to the original G pattern. You're 1, 5, 9, 8, 10. You do that twice. And that's the left hand for your A section. You're just mixing and matching those 4 different chord patterns. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is the left hand in the B section. So you've got lever changes to do in the B section, and I think they're really clearly marked. It is a marking that's a little bit unique to my scores, so I just want to go over that with you. Now, again, the B section begins actually in measure 19. So the left hand is starting with a simple E, 1, 5, 8, 9, 10. And then going to the B, 1, 5, 10, 8, 12. You've done that one before. Remember, that's the 3 chord. Now, take a look at measure 21. Again, my apologies to Enya for changing her left hand, but we did need to create a situation where the left hand has time to go and change a lever. So that's why at measure 21, the left hand just has a rolled chord instead of the moving 8th note pattern. So you're coming down to a low F, 1, 5, 10. Now, I've got that placed. I don't need to look at those strings anymore. I don't need to look at my left hand. I need to look at the lever that needs to be changed. And it's going to be this high F right over here. That's going to go down. Do you see there's a little diamond-shaped F natural? That is showing a lever change. So it's letting me know that I need to create an F natural sound. But then I also like to use a letter with an arrow so I know for sure which direction that lever is going. So this is saying, okay, the F lever is going down. So go place your F, C, A, your 1, 5, 10. Put your eyes on this high F. All right, so we're going to roll. Go find the F and put it down. Okay, it needs to be a straight line from your rolled chord to the lever. Put it back up. Let's practice it again. 1, 2, 3. 1 and you want to do this really quickly because the right hand actually needs to play that F natural. So you've got to get the lever down just before the right hand plays. Here's how that sounds. Okay, so what I do in the right hand is once I roll that chord, I want to place my thumb 2 and 3. So that would be something to practice as well to prepare for success. You've got a rolled A, C, G, place 1, 2, and 3 on F, E, and D. And that way that thumb is placed on a string, and when you lower the lever, it'll just mask a little bit of that noise because your thumb is on there. Okay. Now in measure 22, the left hand has a nice simple 1, 5, 9, 8, 10, right? That good old guy. Next measure, you've got an E, 1, 5, 10, followed by a lever change. So again, place the 3 fingers so that you can put your eyes on your high F, because the F lever has to go up. Okay, so far so good. Measure 24 down to the B, 1, 5, 10. Easy. Measure 25, we're down to that F, 1, 5, 10 again. And remember, once you place it, put your eyes on the lever because your F is going to go down right away. So it's 1 and. Did you get that nice and quick? Now in the next measure, we've got that E flat, the E flat that we set at the beginning of the piece. We finally get to play it. And what I would suggest that you do is go down with a flat hand on this one and grab your interval of a tenth. So I'm grabbing my E and my G. So I just muffle and then play my tenth like that. Okay, flat hand. You can come in classical style with fingers down if you want to, but I find that that's a little bit too powerful and strong. So I find flat hand is a little bit more gentle, and then I need to come up right away and lower that E lever. Okay. And then our last pattern appears to be a D, 1, 5, 10, but if you look very closely, you'll see that I gave the 10 or the F sharp to my right hand so that my left hand just has a little bit more time to raise the F sharp and the E. And that's the tricky part of the B section. I would recommend practicing your left hand and lever changes alone, just like we did. Get the road map all sorted out and make sure that you're using your eyes efficiently. Place those patterns and put your eyes on your lever before you have to change it. And you do have to do those lever changes quite quickly so that the right hand has the lever in place for the string that it needs to play. So I hope this mini lesson was helpful. You've got all of my best secrets, so you're all set to be successful here. Just work in sections nice and slow, little by little. Remember to count, breathe, relax, and enjoy playing this beautiful piece, Watermark by Enya. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested in more tutorials, remember you can visit me at musicdiscoveries.podia.com, where I have several full courses teaching you step by step through a number of my pieces. So please join me there, and we'll see you in the next video.